Hey guys, welcome today for another Sunday evening session. Today we will focus mainly on the stop loss or the exit strategies. People are very clear with the buy entries, but the uh, problem comes when they have to exit, right? So even though exit strategies are explained in the setups, but I thought that let me cover up the exit strategy or the stop loss strategy separately so that you are much more comfortable and your all doubts and queries regarding the exit will get addressed in one particular session, right? So I hope this will get benefited. So for your understanding, we'll take up some stocks and then we'll see that how you have to exit it. Okay, so to start with, I've picked up the same stock as Reliance Industries, right, which we picked up on 25th. And to my surprise, right, if you see, yesterday there was some notification on money control that there is some news build up, they're buying up some sports company or something like that, right? So it is like we did the session on 25th and then later on all these news are coming up, right? So just be you know focus on Reliance. You might see good returns coming if it goes as per our study and analysis, right? So news will also support. Okay, so let us now look at Reliance now in particular, and what is the exit strategy and what is the stop loss in case if it fails to meet our setup and then it reverses back. So as we discussed, right, we are going to buy only when it crosses 2022. Okay, so you can look to buy when it crosses 2022. That is as per our price action daily setup. If you take the monthly strategy, then your stop loss is ideally the previous swing low, that is 1835. So you can take this as an 1835 as your stop loss, right? So that should be good enough for you to take that trade forward. Now what happens sometimes, this swing low or your PA daily setup stop loss or your monthly stop loss, those might be huge, right? Now if somebody, I say, your based on monthly setup, if you have entered over here in Reliance and if your stop loss would be 1 2 3, like almost 50%, right? So that does not make sense, right? So 50% stop loss nobody will give you, right? So from 2000 level your stop loss comes to around 1000 rupees. So that is not making sense, even though setup tells you that way. So in that case, how do you handle your stop losses? So if you want to write it down, you can write it down. uh, uh, Typically what we use for stop loss is our PA daily setup stop loss, right? Or we said you can use your swing low stop loss. Okay, or the next will be your monthly setup stop loss, right? So monthly setup stop loss, swing low stop loss, or daily setup stop loss. So whenever you're trading large cap companies, I would say, whenever you have decided, you are trying to buy a stock, whether it is a large cap stock, in that case your stop loss should be roughly around 15%. Okay, 10 to 15% of our entry price. So if your monthly setup is giving you a stop loss of 40%, or your daily setup is giving you a stop loss of 30%, suppose, right? But that is too much, right? So in that case, and it is a large cap stock, right? Then in that case, you can take your stop loss as 15%, right? 10 to 15% for large cap. Is it clear? So in this case, when you see 2022 and then this comes to around 1835, so that is roughly around 200 rupees, right? And 200 rupees of 2000 is how much? 10%. So this is manageable. Suppose this swing low would have been 1200 rupees, right? Then I would say, no, you cannot put 1200 rupees as your stop loss. Then you put 10%, and then that 10% or 15%, that would be your stop loss. Then that comes to around 1800 rupees. Is it clear? how you have to manage it. So you can't blindly go on the system in case these system breakout is too much, and your stop losses are beyond your control, right? So for large caps, see, there is different way, right? I prefer large caps 10 to 15%, which are Nifty oriented stocks, right? All the FNOs and Nifty oriented stocks, I will take it as 10 to 15% in equity, right? I'm doing little bit different. If you are into mid caps, right? Same thing, right? We used monthly setup, swing low, or your PA daily setup, right? But the percentage there, I would leave it up to 20 to 25%, right? People will say this is weird, right? Large cap, you're putting a stop loss of 10 to 15%, and mid cap, you're giving 25% stop loss, right? Yes, I would prefer 25% stop loss. Why? Because those companies are mid cap companies, right? And their movements are little bit more weird, right? Mid cap companies, the movement will not be in the same fashion of your large cap companies, right? The movements and the price actions are quite a lot of variations. So if you feel that you can hold on for some more time and the risk appetite is more, your mid cap stocks, again I repeat, your mid cap stocks, your stop loss can be 25%. So if I say this India Bull real estate, it's a mid cap stock or a small cap stock, right? So what I'll do, we discussed the entry over here around 64 rupees, right? So 64 rupees was my entry, and that time I said this swing low was my stop loss, and that comes to be around 46, right? So 64, say 46, that comes to how much? That comes to how much? 25% roughly, and that comes to be my swing low, right? Suppose this swing low was 15 rupees or 10 rupees, right? Then I would say I will not wait from 64 till 10 rupees, right? Then I will say you take 25% as your stop loss. That is 64 paid, 25% is how much? 15 rupees. That is 49 rupees. 49 rupees will be my stop loss. Again, it's a mid cap. Now, if there is a small cap stock, right? So again, small cap stocks do see this. See these movements are really, really weird, right? So these spikes are very, very weird. If you try to put your daily setup stop loss, you'll again and again get exited, right? So it does not work. Even sometimes swing low will not work, right? It will try to come down, it will hit you and then go up, right? Again, because they are mid cap stocks, right? So you have to be little bit choosy. If you want to wait, if you want to hold, then you put 25% as a stop loss and continue to ride. Okay, is this clear? What about Ravi? What about Sandeep? So we do it based on percentage. Now next comes your small cap stocks. Sometimes you pick up very, very small cap stocks, right? So we discussed this Subex, right? So Subex was my entry over here when it made a higher high, then it came down and it made a higher low. Then I bought here around 20 rupees, right? So that time I said swing low will be my stop loss, this and this, right? But if you really want to hold this stock and you have the capacity to hold the stock, right? Then for small cap, you can put your stop loss as 30 to 35% initially, right? So now you see this went up, this came down. As per our daily setup, stop loss has triggered, okay? And it has come down, it again went up, but I don't want to exit so fast, right? Because this is a small cap stock, I cannot really follow swing lows, swing highs immediately. It will give me some choppiness, right? And that will if I can hold, and if my entry is way below, I will try to hold on and I'll keep this stock for a longer period of time, right? Because these are not literally trading stocks for 1 or 2 weeks. I'm trying to hold this for a longer duration, for a longer profit, right? So I'm okay to take a stop loss of 30 to 35% in a small cap stock, because my return I'm expecting more than 100% or 200% in these stocks, right? I'm not taking a return of 5, 10%, 20% in these stocks, right? But with large cap, my view is different. My large cap, my view is that if a large cap I'm trying to buy, and if that corrects 20, 25%, then it means it's something going wrong, right? Then I would not like to continue holding that stock, because my intention to buy a large cap stock was that it has to go up. So there, you cannot keep a larger stop loss as per my understanding, right? Here the risks are more. So here you are able to keep a larger stop loss, because here you will not do frequent entry and exit. But in a large cap stock, you can still exit Reliance in 10% stop loss. Later on, you can re-enter again and again. Making sense? Some different way of holding, right? Because again and again, you will not be able to enter, exit all these small cap stocks. And equity it is, right? So equity, you're not going to trade like a trading. You are trying to hold for at least 1 month, 2 months based on your capacity, right? And then if it is a very, very long term, then it becomes 6 months to 1 year, right? If it is not in your favor. But at least whenever you enter into equity, you still want to hold for 2 weeks, 3 weeks, 4 weeks, right? Why will you enter a mid cap stock or a small cap stock for a 1 day movement or a 2 day movement, right? Making sense? Any stocks, mid cap, small cap, or large cap you want, so that we can look at the calculation? Indigo. Perfect. Now you tell me, Indigo comes under which? Indigo. So it's an FNO stock, right? So worst scenario for FNO stock, you can take it as 10 to 15% to 20%. Now what happens with Indigo? Now Indigo is badly hit because of pandemic, right? Airlines, right? So year fluctuations again is similar to what I can say as for mid cap and a small cap. You are trying to understand, even though it is a large cap stock, it is there in FNO, and if it is in there in larger players, but because in the sector which is there, and this stock is been hit badly by pandemic, 10% stop loss, 15% stop loss, uh, if you are really, really long term, will keep you entry, exit, entry, exit, entry, exit. So if that is okay with you, you can do it, right? Or else you can continue with 25 to 30% stop loss, right? Any other stock? So do you have an entry for interglobe situation? I tell you how will you handle if I know your entry. Any other stock do you want to discuss, Ravi? SpiceJet. So these are again same sector, aviation, right? So these will give you, SpiceJet is again like a mid cap and a small cap, right? Now you see, this is beautiful stock, right? It has given you a nice, see the monthly setup. Do you see the monthly setup magic? Guys, see, this is your stock only. This is not my stock. So you cannot say that I am only doing partial and proving my setup. You gave me this stock, SpiceJet. Now you see the monthly setup 1, 2, 3, right? What is this? 56. 56 to 107, 100% return in 2 months. Amazing, right? Yes. Now, if I tell you the stop loss as per a monthly setup, it will be around 47. Now, you cannot put a 47 rupees stop loss, right? When the stock has run up to 100 plus. So it doesn't make sense. Then what you should do? Then you come back to daily setup and then try to take out your daily setup stop loss. So that got hit over here around 100 rupees. If you are still not comfortable, you can put your swing low as your stop loss, this or this particular stop loss. Okay. Okay. Now there is one more catch. Now sometimes what happens, suppose I'll show you over here with this example, right? So this is a good example to teach, right? So suppose you entered over here based on your 56 rupees our monthly setup. So suppose you entered over here, right? So your entry was here around, suppose let me take it as 56, right? That time you kept your stop loss as 30%. So what is 30%? What is 30%? 5.6, 5.6, 5.6. That comes to around 16 rupees, 17 rupees, 17 rupees. So 17 rupees stop loss is how much? 38 rupees. Sorry, 39 rupees, right? The 39 rupees was your initial stop loss. Now what happens? Your stock goes up like this. You still kept your initial stop loss as 39. Then it again came down. It came down to this levels of around 72. Then again it went up, right? Then again it came down. Then again it went up. Now every time you cannot keep your stop loss as 39, right? You are already in the money. You are already making huge profit. So what you can do when your profit is more than 100%. Suppose if your entry was 56 and if your target is achieved of 110, right? So called it did achieve, right? If it is more than 100%, right? Then what you do, you switch this to 30% from this level, or your swing low can be a stop loss. Now 30% of this is how much? 100 rupees, 108 ka 30% kitna hua? 70 rupees, right? So you can take 70 rupees as your stop loss. Is it clear? So initial stop loss was 39, but later on you have moved it to 70 because you have made 100% profit. So you have to see, you have to keep it, right? You will say, why shall I not exit in 100 rupees, 100%? No. These are all small cap stocks, right? This can still go up, right? So now it is not 70 rupees. So you're still holding, right? Now suppose this goes up, comes down again, and then again starts to goes up to 140, 150 then. So in these types of stocks, you have to have a larger stop loss also to take maximum benefit. Is it clear? Any other stock? Coal India. Okay. Now you tell me, Coal India comes under which category? It's a Nifty, FNO, and all those stocks, right? So if you take up as a monthly setup, let us go over here. As per monthly setup, your stop loss is how much? 109. If you're okay with it, continue with 109. Again, now you see what was your entry? 1, 2, 3. So 1, 2, 3 comes to 138. 138 was your entry, and your stop loss is 109. That comes to 15% or more than 15%. 20%. So 140, 138, 13 rupees, 13 rupees, 26 rupees. Yeah. So this is 20%. So as per monthly setup, it is 20%, right? And if you do as per daily setup, right, you would have probably got exited here, right? And if you are following a swing low, then you will probably exit over here around 135, right? Now, for some reason, if your swing low was so low, right, if the stock is just going up, 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 and you cannot wait, I cannot give swing low as 50% or 60%, that time you take it as 10% and exit. Somebody said Asian Paints. Yeah. So see, Asian Paints. Now this is nicely making swing lows. So you can put your swing lows as a capacity, right? Sometimes what happens, stocks just keep going up. It will not make a swing low. No swing low. The swing low is so far that it becomes very, very difficult. So do you have any stock? Zydu Wellness. Yeah. So again, this is a small cap stock, right? Small cap or mid cap, right? So here you can put your, if you take your monthly chart, so it's given a nice monthly breakout only, right? So this is a good stock to buy. You can buy with a stop loss of 3 months low, which comes to be around 1680, right? And this fits into your criteria of 1940. So 10% se kam aa raha hai, right? Then you can use this. Sorry, 3 months. So this month is not yet over. Assuming then after in January, then this will be a stop loss, right? 16. So this gets into your, it's like, let me see in escorts, do you see this pattern? So see this, probably in escorts, I can give you an example. How can you use the percentage? Right. So suppose you entered here based on a daily setup, and this is aram se going up, right? This is like from 600 rupees, it has gone up, up non-stop to 700 rupees. Then it goes to 800, 900 rupees, right? Now tell me, if you do a PA daily setup, you will exit over here, right? But it is too early to exit, right? So if somebody wants to hold, now you see over here, and my probable swing low is this, right? I'll say proper swing low, right? These are minor swing lows, they are my major swing lows. So if I put this as a stop loss, right? So here comes how much? 900 rupees. And here comes how much? 700 rupees. That is how much? 200 rupees. Can you put 200 rupees stop loss? Will you put 200 rupees stop loss in a large cap? So when will you exit? Tell me. If your swing low is so low, what would be your exit? 10%, right? So from 900 rupees, what is your 10%? 810. So probably at 810, you will exit away. You'll not actually wait till your swing low because it will eat up everything, right? Now you see it came up, down, then it will be really too late, right? So you can manage that way. And then later on, if it goes up, then again you buy based on your daily setup. Does this trick help you? Does this idea help you? So you have to be a little bit smart. Ki kitna profit you have to give it back, right? You can't just go by the setups where the swing lows and the daily setups are not in your favor. Yeah. Okay. So I'll just thank you so much. I'll just stop the recording.